Welcome to Denham in Buckinghamshire. It's twinned with Shark Bay in Western Australia. And like its Antipodean sibling, there's something in the water. The water in question is the River Colne, and part of the system passes under a house in two tunnels known as culverts. The left-hand culvert has a mystery blockage, and that's worrying Tim Cheshire of the Environment Agency.
Obviously, it appears to be well and truly jammed in there, and today's operation is primarily to get that out. Obviously, we then secure full flow of both culverts and thus reduce the flood risk to the local properties and the infrastructure of the road.
Put simply, if the culvert gets completely blocked, the river floods. They think the blockage is about 25 metres from the entrance, and that makes this a dangerous job.
Well, the biggest problem is obviously this is going to be a confined space inspection, and primarily we've got the guys who are confined space trained. The situation is that they'll be taking in the gas monitors, but we'll still have the problem of flowing water. What I'll try and do is keep in contact with our guys back in flood incident management, just to get a check on what rainfall's going to be happening today.
There could be a flood incident to manage if the water level rises while the men are still inside the very confined culvert. Tim will monitor rainfall upstream, which may give some warning if more water is on the way. They're going to reduce the water level.
We need to sandbag across the head wall here to stop the water flowing down the main channel so we can get in there and safely work. Once we've sandbagged it, we can overpump it, dewater it so that it's dry. The guys are then going to go in with a CCTV. We don't know what we're going to find.
Traditional and low-tech, there's a reason why sandbags are used as temporary flood barriers. They work. Before long, the rapid flow through the culvert is slowing.
Yeah, it's working okay. The water level's dropping now.
Doing what we want it to.
Yep. Doing quite well now.
So what is blocking the culvert?
We've got footballs, big logs, big planks of wood, loads of bottles of rubbish, and anything else that's flowing down the river, really.
That'll do you, won't it? That's it. Ain't going to build up, is it? Because we've got the main flow now taking it down there.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll get this rubbish out.
Before it goes down there. Okay, coming down.
But before they can go in, another hazard needs to be taken care of. Gas. River silt could release deadly gases that would fill the culvert.
Just got a personal gas monitor that he needs to wear before we go in there. We'll just lay it in there, check for any gases. We don't know what we've got in there. We're not expecting a lot of silt because it's fairly fast flowing. So once we've checked it, the guys will maintain, carry them all the time. There shouldn't be anything unexpected in there.
First out is something you would expect to find in a river. The fish needs to be rescued from the rapidly disappearing water.
Just catching a fish, getting them out so we don't stand on them or doing any harm. So.
Next, they remove the floating items. As the water level drops, they'll get washed down into the main pile of debris, and that would be a bit of an own goal. Now it's time to get suited up and stuck in.
We found lots of rubbish, sticks, footballs, toys, everything in there, so we've now got to get in, clear it all out before we take the water level right down. We'll pump it out, so we've got sort of feasible to get the camera in.
But as they clear the first of the debris, it becomes obvious the problem is worse than expected.
What Steve's identified is there is a massive blockage in the culvert itself. Looks like silt and debris.
The blockage is closer to the far end of the culvert, and it would be easier to extract it that way. But they're worried there might be a drain or other pipe across the tunnel, which would be damaged if they dragged stuff past it. But they can't be certain, so it's time to deploy their secret weapon. They're sending in the robot. In a cramped culvert running under a house in Denham near Uxbridge, the Environment Agency has discovered a massive blockage. Items in the tunnel include trees and pieces of timber. If the culvert blocks, the river could flood. Before sending any men in, Steve has decided to deploy his robot camera. The culvert is very cramped. Steve's concerned there might be other dangers, either from the debris or falling material if the roof is not in good condition. With most of the water drained out of the culvert, the little robot should be able to drive up to the blockage. Back at Mission Control, Ryan Durrant takes command.
It's just like a big remote control car, really.
Keep going then, forward.
I weigh about 60 kilograms, so I'll get over most stuff.
You want to go right to the right, Ryan. We go round that heap.
It's now on the bend where it changes to brick arch now.
So what you're looking for?
Structural defects, debris in the system, just anything really what shouldn't be there. As you see, there's debris all over. And it falls on top of the pipe, that is. That's as far as I'm going to get in it.
No further than that. You got a good picture of it?
Yeah, it's a good picture of all the debris in that.
As they wait for the robot to return, the lads keep an eye open for any distressed fish.
It's a big part of it now is the flood risk, but you've got the environmental side that's always got to be considered as well. We have to do everything possible to make sure that nothing is ever harming the environment, any fish or anything like that. We're using fish-friendly pumps where needed, or they just get where you don't want them.
Is that a bit of an unusual softer side for your man down there?
You'll see him with cod and chips, he's not so gentle.
Steve's anxious about his robot.
Every time it comes out, we had it stuck in a tidal outfall before, and we had 20 minutes before the tide came in to get it out. That was worrying.
You're not worried about me coming out in one piece, eh?
No. I'll get another bloke tomorrow. I'll get camera ordered from Germany.
Now the robot's in the other end of the tunnel to see what's holding back the huge pile of debris. They're concerned it might be a drain crossing the culvert. As it moves forward, the camera reveals a boat. Near Uxbridge, Steve and his team are attempting to clear a blocked culvert. They've found much more debris than expected. When Steve sent a robot camera to see what was going on, they found a small boat. Extracting it is going to be tricky. But there's good news too. The boat is held in place by a log, not a drain or service pipe, as they'd feared.
That's excellent news, yeah. I mean, the real worry was that was a service crossing. Obviously, trying to pull the boat over a service crossing is not only difficult, but the situation is that obviously we don't want to fracture any utility service. So that's great news.
The news for the team is mixed. On the one hand, they're free to press ahead and pull out the boat. On the other, they're going to spend the rest of their day on hands and knees up a dark tunnel, wrestling with heavy timber. First, get a line onto the log.
They're just now trying to get a line tied to the front of the log, and then we can remove that from the system. You ain't got much room in there or anything, have you?
Outside the culvert, it's starting to rain. If the rain raises the river level, that could be a problem. Tim has made a call.
I've run through to our flood incident management room. They predicted in the Uxbridge area 1 millimetre of rain maximum today. So hopefully that won't affect our operations here today. Obviously the downside is all of us get wet.
Working in the culvert, Steve finally gets a line onto the boat. They start to haul it out.
So we're getting it back slowly, just keep catching on the roof, that's all. The plate is coming. Ain't doing too bad, but they look a bit hot.
The rain has increased the flow through the culvert. Not so much it's dangerous, but enough to help move the boat. Progress is very slow.
How much?
About 20 metres.
20? It was only 25 up, wasn't it?
Yeah, they've got it back, they're just trying to get some water out the bottom of the boat, that's all.
Hold the camera.
After a struggle, the robot camera is first out. Then finally, it's the boat.
You got the gas detectors out as well?
They're all in the boat.
Right.
I reckon you owe me about 700 quid though. Right, now we've tied all the logs together in there, so if you boys can pull them now, we're going to have a cup of tea. Hold it. Whoa!
Oh.
What's up, Dave?
How do you feel now?
Rather pleased. Rather tired. That was the easy bit. That's 20 ton of wood up there, come out.
The boat was just the beginning. They'll be back another day. Still at the culvert is a lorry load of silt, logs and other debris that could easily cause another blockage, and then a flood. But with the boat out, that risk is reduced. It's been harder than expected.
Very difficult, extremely exhausting. Hard on your back, your knees, and my lips by the look of it, they're bleeding.
I think these guys probably deserve a round of applause from the residents of Uxbridge here. Thanks to these guys, hopefully the risk of flooding has been reduced, and that's the business the Environment Agency's in.